Good morning, and welcome back to me. It's Marty Forrest. My website's Hello Extraordinary Life. I am a coach. I do one-on-one coaching. I do these calls every week. They're all recorded, and they are free. And I am for hire. So I also do a 6-week course. I haven't decided if I'm going to change that, but I've done it a six-week course a number of times now, and usually around 3 times a year. So you can check that out on the website also and find out more about that. I don't have dates yet for next year because I haven't decided if I'm going to tweak it a bit and make it a little longer. Anyway, just information for you. If you check out the website, helloextraordinarylife.com, on the landing page is a free offer. It's a free ebook, 3 Steps to Reprogramming Your Negative Self-Talk. And it's a really great document and gives you just hands-on, tangible things that you can implement immediately, which is also why I do these calls every week, so I can just offer different tools and tips that help you, anyone, implement it right now and be better within ourselves. Today I am talking about choosing perspective. I had a different one called Perspective is Everything, and if it's along that line, it's just more. There's just more because as we were talking earlier, that it takes time and practice when we're choosing, making choices. Sometimes we don't feel like we have choices. And maybe my circumstance presents itself, but I always am at choice about how I view it, how I am inside of it, how I am inside of myself, because really, truly, it's all about me and it's all about you. How we are with ourselves. That's the perspective. That's the bottom line is if I'm sitting in judgment or I'm sitting in opinions or I'm acting out in all of that, that's what I do to me. That's just the bottom line. If I'm doing it to you and I'm projecting it out, then I'm doing it to me. Now, sometimes it's just about I got triggered by something, you get triggered by something, some deep wound got touched, and I'm in a reaction to that because no matter what, we don't want to feel the pain. And until we learn how to choose something else or heal that wound, there's often just a reaction that happens, and it's a physical, sometimes visceral reaction to something in life. And until we can learn how to respond and be at choice, we're not. And sometimes we don't even know we have the option. It's just sometimes people go, oh, this is just how it is. This is how I am. This is my life. Well, then that closes the door even to any opportunity to look at it being different. And so I talked about in the emails about, like, how do we make it different? How do we choose something different in the moment? Sometimes it's not in the moment. Mine wasn't in the moment when it happened. When I wrote about being in Hawaii and being with my family, and that I don't remember the exact saying that goes, when you want to find out how spiritually fit you are or how far you've grown, hang out with your family. Well, I had 2 weeks with my family, my mom and her sister and brother-in-law. And so I got to really see where I choose consciously and where I didn't choose consciously. I reacted. And after, it was probably a day, because I was really just frustrated that first day in Maui. And so instead of it being the whole trip where I was mad and complaining, it's just the day. And then the next day I had a bit, I just kept to myself, really just processing through it. I did some writing through it. And that's what helps me get to the other side to see what is my part in this, right? Sometimes that's the first place that we go is when we become mindful is what's my part? Where did I become a victim to the circumstance rather than choosing my response to it? When we do it long enough, it becomes more second nature, I've been doing that a long time, but it still didn't come quite so easily that day. And the truth of it was, I was mad at me because I didn't speak up. Because intuitively, I knew we needed to turn around before we ended up on this long-ass road that was really windy, curvy, scary. And I was disappointed. So I had expectations. There's lots of things that played into that, right? So my perspective is I wanted it to go a certain way. It didn't go that way. I didn't speak up about it. We didn't have a plan, and it went the way it went. And now I'm blaming him because he was driving. I'm blaming him for my irresponsibility in saying something. That doesn't mean it would have changed what happened, but I would have spoken my piece about it. Then I get to choose the perspective of, okay, I spoke my piece about it, but that doesn't mean it's going to change everything. Just because we tell someone what we need or what we'd like to see happen doesn't mean we get what we want, but I have been true to me, right? That's my perspective. I've been true to me. Then I can continue on and choose to be mad or not in the situation, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want just because I say it. So how do we do that? How do we do it in the moment? Sometimes it's not in the moment. Sometimes it's a little bit later. Sometimes we reflect back. So in my reflection, in this instance, I said to my mom, I said, I'm here to really enjoy myself. I have this amazing vacation, this amazing opportunity. So no matter what I choose, I decided I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to enjoy my trip. So from that point forward, I did that. I made the choice beforehand. So no matter what happens now, I get to choose how I want to view it. Am I going to enjoy it? Am I going to make the best about it? Or am I going to complain about it? I chose to make it the best I could. So I did no more complaining. I simply made it the best it could be in the circumstance that was given with my family. The how part. Choose beforehand. If I knew even before I went on the trip that this was a possibility. I'm going to really get to see how I've grown or not. And I have grown a lot. And I saw some places where I still have room to grow. So I knew that part, but until I'm in the experience of it, I don't really know all of it yet, right? Because we don't know until we're in it often. And I didn't want to put the preconceived perspective of I'm going to have a crappy time because I'm with my family. Right? I did have some consciousness before I went to say, I know I'm going with my family. I know I need to do small doses, and I know there may be opportunities that that's not going to happen. How am I going to be in that? So I'm choosing before I go, knowing that it can go several ways. If I know I'm triggered by something, if you have circumstances in your life that you get triggered by, decide beforehand. Come up with a plan beforehand. Like when we went to Maui, we didn't have a plan. So now we just did the thing that was right in front of us, and all that happened the way it did. So have a plan. This is one of the things that's helped me all along is when I know that I'm going to be triggered by some circumstance, my family or my friends or some just life happens, right? And certain things bring up some certain emotions for me and you and everyone in life, right? We all have our life experience. So when I make a plan beforehand, if I know that, let's just say, being around loud people, because the ship is really loud everywhere, lots of noise, then I need a plan. And I already knew this because I'd already been told. Go to the library, they have an adult sanctuary, they have a couple other places that I could go and have it be quiet. So I had the plan because I know that too much noise triggers me because it makes me, I feel unnerved in my energy, in my body, because it's just too much overload of sensory. So I know this, right? So I planned it so they don't have to be mad about it being so loud all the time, right? So I made a plan. I could go outside where the water waves were against the boat, the ship. It's not a boat, it's a ship. I went to the library where it was really quiet because when you close the doors, it drowned out most of the noise. Or when there was no music early in the morning, it was quiet in there. There were also other places that when there was nothing, no events happening in them, it was very quiet inside of them. So I had a plan. If let's say I don't like being around like people that party, I have an exit plan. If I'm around my family or my friends that they like to party or be out late, I have an exit. I have a way to excuse myself, and I make no excuses about it. But I plan it so that I can go, you know what, I've had my fun. This is my perspective. I've had my fun. I've enjoyed my time here. And now it's time to go. And y'all have a good time. My mom and my aunt, they would go out late to some of the other shows. And, do you want to come? Why do you want to come with us? I'm like, nope, I'm done. I just done. That was my plan. I'm done. I'm going to go back to the room where it's quiet and not feel bad about it. And I didn't buy into their guilt or their, oh, we really want you to come. Okay, great. And they figured it out really quick that it didn't matter. I was not going to go. 9-ish, 9-ish. I'm going off to bed because I'm up really early. So I make these plans because I can have a new perspective. That's the best way to set yourself up to be successful. And then in the moment, let's talk about in the moment. In the moments when life is happening and I just get to choose. So maybe my plan is that I know this. I had a friend who, oh my gosh, she was a big fat trigger for me. She was the greatest gift for me to grow and learn and see why. Like the why part that I was triggered by her. She touched wounds inside of me often, and I would just get so pissed and hurt and angry and frustrated. And I finally realized in the moment, so before I know she triggers me, so before I'm going to go hang out with her, what's my plan? Am I going to ask myself? So I often ask myself, what's being touched right now? Because this is not about her. When I'm touched that deeply by someone or something, it's never about the person in front of me. They are there to help me heal some deep wound inside of me. It's never about them. They just put on a new face for an old wound. And I know this. And I know that she was a trigger for me. So I got to look at, okay, so what is she touching in me? That's the gift that she's offering me. Whether I like it or not is immaterial. It's something I get to experience. And I get to look at, oh, here's another opportunity for me to heal. This is my perspective. And I decided that when I kept getting triggered, I don't want to be mad at her. She's my friend. But I would get mad at her. And I finally realized, oh, she's offering me opportunities to heal something. What is that? And then I could stop being mad at her and shift my perspective about, oh, what do I need to see here? What do I need to look at here? What is it about me that I'm seeing in her? Right, that reflection. And that helped me shift my perspective and stop getting mad at her for helping me heal something that needed healing. And it took a while. That took a while for me to actually see that. But when I started choosing to question myself, why am I being triggered by this? What wound is being touched? Or what is it about this situation? And that's in the moment. Because inevitably, she would say something, or she would just be really abrasive, or some way that just grated on me. So for a while, I did small doses of our friendship together, because I couldn't tolerate more than that. I needed to reprieve and take a look at what was being triggered. So in the moment I can look, but sometimes I just need to know that that small doses of certain people until I'm not triggered that way. Because once the wound gets some healing, those people don't trigger us anymore. So shifting the perspective, choosing sometimes before, sometimes in the moment, and it all takes practice. It all takes practice, because even as long as I've been doing that, I still got triggered with my family. And I can sit here and tell you, I love my family, but I don't like them very much. And what I mean by that is I don't really like the behaviors. So I choose small doses. I can love them all I want, but until I'm completely neutral about it, I just choose to not interact as much, because they don't really serve my life. And it's not out of a place of judgment. That's just out of a place of self-preservation and love for me. So being at choice and shifting our perspective, it's important. Otherwise we just walk around as the victim of circumstance and reacting to our whole life. And we're here to really learn how to love ourselves, because the more I can love me and the more you can love you, the more I can treat myself, the more you treat yourself with kindness, love, compassion, the more I can give the world that. I was talking with someone the other day about, I've read things and I've heard things about give other people what you want to have. I thought, and then that will come back to you. Well, that is true, but if I'm not healing what's deeply wounded inside of me, then I'm still trying to fill something up that's empty inside of me. And that, so that motive that drives me to do that, that's me personally, that may not be everybody in the world, but the motive that drove me to give and give and give came from a place of empty and people-pleasing. So I did that for a long time, and so when people say that today, give what you want to receive, my motive's not in alignment with me, and it's not authentic, then I'm trying to externally have them fill me up, and that doesn't work. I have to be filled up on the inside to be able to give authentically. So I will stop there. I see I'm at almost half past the hour. I said a lot. Did you get anything out of that? Was it valuable?
It was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you get anything you're taking away that you can use for your life today?
Well, yeah. I think the part about thinking about beforehand, so that you have a plan when the trigger hits, that you have a place to go instead of just reacting to it. That's a wonderful idea. Because I got a feeling over the holiday I'll probably have a few of these moments. It's just inevitable.
Holidays are notorious for this. So it's perfect timing for the family thing with the holidays coming. Yes.
It is, absolutely.
So knowing, even in the moment, in your home, if you're having it at your home, knowing where you need to retreat to at any given moment, and just having a little place that you can go and just breathe, ground yourself, so you can come back and be fully present for your family. It's true for anyone, but
I do have my office. That's my cave. So if I need to hide, that's where I go.
Very good.
It works pretty good for me. It changes my whole frame as soon as I walk through the door.
Your sanctuary. I love that.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks for being here today.
Well,
I appreciate you. Have a fabulous Christmas.
Yeah, you do as well.
Thank you. And I am planning to have a call next week, so maybe I'll hear next week after Christmas and have a little decompression.
Oh.